So speak a little bit, we're going to learn a little ZOHAR and speak a little bit about this week's Parsha, Bechukosai, which is the final portion, final Parsha in the book of Vayikra. And the Torah records at great length the harsh rebukes, or to call it differently, the punishments, quote unquote, when we walk and carry, when we walk in a way of happenstance, when our relationship becomes stale and non-passionate, Vinishantam becomes old and impassionate and indifferent, then we suffer, quote unquote, a certain consequence. To understand a little bit what is the idea of punishments in the Torah, it seems on one hand to be very harsh, very punitive. If you're going to do this is what's going to happen. If you're going to if you're going to study Torah, you're going to work, you're going to harva, you're going to be involved in this, in practice, in Yiddishkeit, then this will be the reward, so to speak, or the effects, or Yehudim, like the Rambam writes, the effects of the context will give you the freedom to practice correctly and with open mind. And if not, these are going to be the effects. So what is the idea of punishments on a very simple level? What is this idea of sort of almost retribution? Do this, and if not, this is what's going to happen. So on one level, we can understand this, that it's not simply arbitrary, but they're cause and effects. Or like the Shalach Kaddish, in the language of the Shalach Kaddish, is that it's sibav mesubav, that it's a natural consequence, that everything that we do subjectively creates an objective correlation to our actions. And when we create through our thoughts, our words certainly, and even our actions, more importantly, we create a certain type of vibrational output into the world. And then the effects of that, this is the subjective action that we do, and the effects of that is that it creates an objective correlation to those actions, and therefore we are in the effect of those effects that we created. That's on one level. But let's try to understand this a little bit different in a different context, and certainly within the context of the entire book of Vayikra, and the entire context of what it means to be in relationship. And the truth is, to say it very simply, the more a person is in a relationship with another, the more that other has an effect on them, and the more the actions of that other person has an effect on them. Chazal tell us, the sages tell us. So there's a famous statement in the Tanchum Parshas Nasai that says, "Nesava Kadosh Baruch Hu liyas leitir b'tachtonim," that Hashem has the desire to create a dwelling place, to have a dwelling place for Himself, itself, in this world. But there's a similar medrash in Bereshis Rabbah 3:9 that Amar Reb Shmuel Bar Ami, Reb Shmuel Ami says, in the beginning, mitchila b'rishon ha'olam, in the beginning of the creation, Nisava HaKadosh Baruch Hu la'asei shutvas b'tachtonim. There was a divine desire. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Creator, the Master of the universe, had a desire, a longing, and Nisava, desire, doesn't come from a place of lack. It comes from a place of fullness, not a need but a desire. There was a divine desire to have a shutvas, that we should be in partnership with the Creator. That Hashem created, the God created, the Creator created us in a way that we are in a partnership with the Creator in creating a better world. What does it mean that we're in a partner? So for example, let's say you walk into a store that is closing down. There's a closeout sale. And you know, the reason why this is a closeout sale, the store is going, is because the store is going out of business. And they're not making money, so therefore they're selling all the merchandise. When you walk in the store, maybe you feel a little bit bad for the owner, but because you don't have a personal relationship with that owner, then, and you're not invested in the store itself, so it doesn't matter so much. It doesn't matter to you. But assuming, let's say, you were a partner in this business and your store, or maybe you were a silent partner, and now you walk into the store that you thought was making money, and now you realize that it's not, but you are a shutef, you are a partner in this store. Now, the fact that the store is going under affects you more. So the more you have a relationship to something, the more that idea has an effect on you. Think about this more, let's say, on a more emotional level, not just a relationship in terms of some type of financial connection. That let's say a person you're walking down the street and someone insults you. I don't know why, but someone walks over to you and says, by the way, you look ugly. You seem to be a nasty person. I don't know. It doesn't matter what the person says. You don't know who this person is. And if you live a little bit more from the inside out, not from the outside in, and you have a little bit more of a healthy sense of self, it just washes over you and it doesn't faze you. Because you don't care what the other person thinks about you, especially a person that you're not in a relationship with. But what happens if someone that is very close to you, you have a friend of yours, that comes over to you and tells you, by the way, I think you're not kind, or by the way, I think you're ugly, or whatever that statement that the person does to hurt you. The more you are in relationship to that other person, the more their words matter. The more the words, what they say, has an effect on you, because you are in relationship to other. Imagine if you have a child, you're sitting in shul, you're sitting in the synagogue, you're sitting in shul, and you see a child running around, making noise or misbehaving. So it doesn't really bother you if you're a healthy person. Why should I bother you? Or else it's disturbing you, but it doesn't really bother you. But what happens if it's your own child that's causing a ruckus? Then it affects you more, because the more you're in a relationship, the more their actions matter. The worst thing that a person could do is to show, let's say if you're a parent and you have a child, or in your relationship with someone, is the worst thing you can do is worse than being angry at the other person, is being indifferent to them. If, let's say your child misbehaves, and the reason why your child misbehaves, you come into the house and the child made a tremendous mess or painted all over the walls, let's say. What are they really seeking? They're not trying to misbehave. What the child is really seeking is attention. The child is missing something from their parents, and they're crying out for attention. Coloring on the walls is an example, but let's say the child does something even worse, God forbid. The child is desperately seeking to be recognized, to be noticed. And the worst thing for a parent to do is to walk into the room, or in relationship to the child, more an adult child, to not even recognize what they're doing is wrong, to not rebuke them, to just ignore it. In a relationship, how do you know in a relationship, let's say between spouses, God forbid, how do you know when a relationship is really tithering on its endpoint and needs a real interjection, a real intervention to jumpstart the relationship again? Is not when they're arguing with each other, because arguing means, or they're even getting upset at each other, because being upset at another spouse or being upset at somebody means that you care about them, or you care about the relationship between you and this other person. But then there's something that's even deeper and more sad, which is complete indifference. It doesn't matter to me anymore. You can't get me upset because I have no relationship with you. And the deeper the relationship is, the more things matter. And the same thing also we have to understand when we talk about the consequences of our actions. The consequences of our actions, what the Torah is telling, and we'll read a little bit from the ZOHAR, what the Torah is telling us, the consequence of our actions means, because we're in a bris, we're in a relationship, and because we're in a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because we're in a relationship with the Creator, therefore our actions matter much more. You'll say, why does a particular person's actions matter more than others? Why do our actions matter? Why does Hashem care if we eat kosher or don't, or we keep Shabbos or we don't? Because we're in a relationship, and every single thing These are the mitzvahs are the arrows of love, the arrows of connection. And every time you violate one of them, it's painful. It hurts more and it has bigger consequence. The reason why it has stronger consequence is because there is a relationship. Because if there's no relationship, your actions don't matter. But if there is a relationship, and the relationship is very deep, then the actions matter more. You know, we live in a generation, in a post-Holocaust generation, a post-traumatic generation, that went through the very deep trauma. And because of that, it was very, a lot of the chinuch, a lot of the education was based on yira, on fear, and awe maybe, but certainly fear more based. And then a generation turned away from this, and they couldn't take it. It was suffocating, this type of yira. And then a generation came along and said, we want just love. And we need love. And the common phrase is, Hashem loves you. And Hashem does love you. But we're missing something, because when we say love, or think about this when a parent to a child, when a parent tells a child, I love you, and I love you unconditionally, which a parent should not only tell the child, but feel this way, unconditionally. But if there's no sense that the child's life really matters, that if there's no belief in the child's greatness, if it's just about love, then the child says, okay, so I'm loved, and I can do whatever I want, and nothing really matters. But what happens if there's a certain expectation? Love comes also with love comes with, I believe in you. Not only just I love you, and whatever you are and whoever you are, I'll always be there for you, which should be there and is the essence of the relationship. But it's also because I love you, I also believe in you. And I also believe that you can be great, and I think you can do wonderful things. And when you don't do things, it's painful to me. And when you're not living your greatness, and most people would rather live mediocrity, most people would rather live just mediocre existence, because it's much easier. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us, Hashem tells us that I want you to be in a relationship with me, and you are in a relationship with me, and I'll love you, have to ask Hashem. I'll love you no matter what. Ben kach u ben kach. Either way, I love you and you're my child. But I expect so much more from you. Because I love you, because I believe in you, because I know that you can be great. And therefore, every action that you do, every positive deed you do, tips the entire world, entire scale for the better. And every negative action you do, every thought that you have, every word that you speak, and every action that you do has ramifications that transforms the entire orbit, the entire universe. This is the magnitude and the majesty of Yiras Hashem, of the idea of quote-unquote punishment, the idea that we really matter. Let's read a little bit with the ZOHAR. And the ZOHAR, in the beginning of Bechukosai, says this mamish, the same idea. The ZOHAR says like this, and something even more wonderful. The ZOHAR says like this. In Bechukosai telechu v'esim soisa tishmeru v'sisam oisa. And the pasuk says that if you walk and you do the mitzvahs, and you will do them, v'sisam oisam, and you will do them. Says the ZOHAR, v'sisam oisam, this is Bechukosai, daf kuf yud gimel amud aleph. Page 113a. Vasisam oisam, vasisam oisam. What does it mean? Vasisam oisam. You shall make them. Kivnam telechav tishmar. Since it says you'll walk in that path and you'll protect them. Amai vasisam. What does it mean? Vasisam. What does it mean that you should do? What is it adding? Elamanda avid pekuda deraisa v'azaburchai. Someone that performs the mitzvahs and walks in the ways of Torah. Kaviyachol. This means ki'ilu avilei le'ela. Vasisam oisa means as if you created kavi achol, you created the one above. Amar kuchabrichu ki'ilu asasani. You should know HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Nachshavli, it's considered to me as if you created me. Vado vasisam oisa, this vasisam oisa means vasisam atam, that you will create me. That you will make me God. This means that you will make me. What does this mean? That God is saying, Hashem is saying, this is very powerful. Hashem is saying, I'm not God. I'm not Hashem. I'm not the master of the universe. If you don't recognize, there's no king without subjects. Hashem says, I want you, this Ava, have a desire, lasas shutves betachtonim, have a desire to be a shutef, to be a co-partner with you in this creation. And I cannot be me, kaviyachal. Hashem is saying, I cannot be me. God is saying, I cannot be me without you. Just like you cannot be you without me. You are creation and you need your creator. Hashem is saying, I cannot be fully me if there's no you to recognize me, to reveal me. My existence, my revelation of my existence is dependent on you. You create me. Now this is much more than just a shutef l'may separation. This is not just only that we are partners with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that we are partners in creating this world a better place and making a dir b'tachtonim, making a dwelling place for Hashem in this world. But v'asisa moisem, you create me kaviyachol. You're a partner in my creation, not only in my revelation of my presence in this world, but you're making me. And without you, there is no me. That's powerful. That means that we are indispensable. And in this indispensable relationship, because you are the majority partner, if you wish. As if there's two people in a partnership and someone says, I'm going to put down the money, but I need you to do the work. And because you're going to do the work, you'll be the majority partner of this enterprise. So of course the person that puts down the money, the investment, wants a return on his money. But who's going to do the actual work? And who's going to make the investment a real investment? Is going to be the person that's the partner that's going to do the actual work. This is what Hashem says. You're going to do the work. You're going to be the real shutef. And even on a deeper level, you're going to make me me. However we understand that. Not only is the business going to work out, and this shutfus l'mayt separation is this partnership of creation, of creating this world into a better place, into a holier place, into a more divine place, into a purer place, a place of more love, and more acceptance, and more holiness, and more transcendence, and less ego, and less strife, and less struggle. We have the tremendous responsibility of creating that. And that's the way we bring down HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachal to this world. And that's how we Kaviyachal, as if create the creator of the world, that the creator becomes the master of the universe. Because without the subject, there is no king. Not only is no kingdom, there's no king. This is what the ZOHAR is saying. It's radical, but this is what it's saying. So what does that mean? So our lives really matter. Super important. Our lives are the utmost importance thing in this world. Our actions are not just trivial. It's not like a kid's making a mess and who cares, but no one really cares. You're making a mess, but you're destroying the world. Your actions are tremendously valuable. Now, how does it reflect? Sometimes it reflects in the negative. If you say that a person can create this positivity, you want to know you want to know how it reflects itself? Because look what happens when you do something negative. Even if you do one little turning away in thoughts and actions and word, it matters so much. I am so connected to you. We're so interlinked. We're so at one with each other that whatever you do matters tremendously, not only to the project, but to me. This is what Hashem is saying. Like the ZOHAR continues a little further on, Dafkuf Yudalad. Kama chaviv miyisol kama yikut shebrichu. How chaviv, how pleasurable and how desirable Klal Yisrael is in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How much love they are. Because Hashem wants to rebuke them. And to bring them to the correct path. Like a parent that loves a child, like a father loves a son. And because he loves his child so much, and he has such expectations from his child, sometimes he may rebuke the child and say that it's painful and it hurts. And what you're doing is very painful for yourself and for me. For yourself, for the project that you're trying to live your life, to the life that you're trying to create yourself, and it's also painful to me. That's what Hashem is saying. And that's the depth of what it means that Hashem is the punishments of the Torah. The punishments of the Torah is not, God forbid, some type of punitive action that Hashem, who's the master of the universe, says, if you do this thing, I could do anything to watch. I could take away everything you have. Hashem says, no. Your life matters so much to me. Your actions matter so much to me. We are in such a deep relationship that not only our relationship in terms of the thing that we're trying to create together, which is trying to create a dir b'tachtonim, a dwelling place for Hashem in this world. that we're co-creators, that we become a partner to the unfolding of creation through Vayichul Hashemayim, through recognizing the oneness, the divine oneness within creation. But even more than that, I cannot be me without you being fully you, and therefore every single thing that you do matters to me tremendously, because every single action and every single word and every single thought affects me tremendously, because I cannot be fully me without you. Not only is the project not being fulfilled, and not only is your life not being manifested, but because we're in a relationship, your actions matter much more. And that is the depths of Bechukosai. That's the depth of what the Torah speaks about, this rebuke and punishment. That's why it's the ultimate act of true love. Because true love is not just, I love you no matter what, but true love also comes with the holding the space for the other person to become fully who they are. True love is to recognize the greatness of the child that you have in front of you. True love is not to say, no matter what happens, I still love you. That's true. We have to say that. But it also says, I believe in you so much. I trust you so much. I believe that you can become so wonderful and so amazing, and therefore it's painful when you're not. Have a wonderful Shabbos.